This is the worst story I have ever read. And now I'm going to explain it so that you can suffer with me. Before getting into it, I want to be clear, this video is just for fun. I'll tell you what story this is at the end of the video, so stay tuned. But don't bully or harass the writer when I tell you what story this is. That's just moron. With that said, let's get started. We start with Princess Meryl, a princess, shocking, I know, who has the power of a god, but has not unlocked them yet. She is now 22, and her father, and therefore the kingdom's goal, is to stop some god of evil from destroying them. However, not only can the god of evil make demon monsters, which the story never uses, but it also has this ninja cult who worships it and tries to summon him and kill Meryl because she's the key to destroying the god of evil with the help of a hero with a legendary sword. Being ninjas, they are masters of disguise, able to dress up as anyone they want, and can poof away in a smoke cloud. Thankfully, they have these magic doohickeys that keep the ninjas out somehow. They're basically like the Thumpers in Half-Life 2 if the ninjas were antlions. So anyways, the god of death was told to be summoned 5 years ago, but when he hit 5 more minutes, it went for 5 more years. How silly. Back to the princess. After the ninja gang almost kills her while she's out and about, the king decides to have his daughter train with the best knight they ever had, who is coincidentally her age, a knight named Cable. And the king says how she can't order him around and how he has a higher position during training. Okay, I get that, but you should have someone keep him in check. What if he thinks she needs to bleed in order to know what pain's like? What if he forces her to stop eating so that she can go without being hungry? What if he decides to her as an exercise? So she hates Cable, not because of those things, but it's just because normal training. But as they do said training, she starts to hate him less and less, and then within like a month, she's head over heels for him. And so is he, because obviously who doesn't love someone who just yells at him? There's also a supporting character, Coil, who tells him to get his act together because he's just a soldier and can't be with her. And how if the king knew that Cable liked Meryl, Cable would be dead, and they need him. They need Cable. Okay, first off, Cable's told to be the best knight they have. That's why the kingdom needs him. So who's gonna kill him? Like, who's gonna attack him knowing that they're gonna die? 2, the king seems very caring of his daughter, so why can't just a random soldier marry him? Like, why does the king's opinion matter? There's also, we never hear of any other kingdom, so it's not like he's trying to marry her off, and it doesn't seem like this king would just marry his daughter off. It doesn't matter, but I want to share the fact that anytime this story needs a spare Noit, give me a Noit, spare knight, it's Coil, which makes the whole world feel smaller as it only feels like there's free people. As I said, doesn't matter, so Cable tells Coil to f*** off and sneaks into Meryl's room to help her train against the ninja cult. So they get close, and Meryl helps Cable get a trip to see his family he has not seen in 2 years, because the story wants you to see this kingdom as both a kind, caring kingdom, but also having a strict, like, training that the knights just do because they don't mind. So meet Cable's mom, his dad, and his sister, who might as well be called Cable's mom, Cable's dad, and Cable's sister, who are all this because they all have the exact same personality, being loyal and scared to look at the princess wrong, fear that she'll send them to the guillotine if they breathe wrong. The writer didn't think they needed interesting characters here, I guess. Okay. Cable and the princess flirt, and on the way we get a new guy, which is pretty rare, and that is Captain Chair. I'm not making... Okay, it's certainly supposed to be Char, but come on. I like Chair more. And for some reason, the whole kingdom said when the princess was coming home. So guess who comes? During the attack, Cable uses morphine on himself and the princess, and those two are the only ones to survive because f*** any non-main characters. Wait. Chair. No! Cable was hurt a lot more, but Meryl makes sure he's getting the best help he can. 'Cause duh. So once the two are at good enough health, they go to the woods to go find that cool sword that the hero needs. Yeah, remember that thing I said? But before that, I have to share the fact that Cable was masturbating to the thought of the princess. Moving on, Cable goes all whoopie-doopie, and big surprise, he's the hero! Who could have seen it coming? Turns out being the hero sucks, as he has these seizures and is seeing past lives of himself and Meryl. See, in this world, people are bound to something. Other people, roles, jobs, yes, jobs, Sorry if you work at a medieval fast food joint. You're stuck there for all time, buddy. Back to what I was saying. Cable and Meryl are linked, and so they're in love, not because of love, but destiny. Yeah, a problem you have here is that you set their love not as something because they love each other, but because they have to love each other. You know what I'm saying? Makes it feel less natural because they're destined to be together. So Cable can say or do whatever evil things he wants, and she'll still love him. I want to give the writer credit, but I feel the reason they was so that instead of having characters who make sense to be together, like naturally, if anyone asks why Cable and the princess are together, the writer can just say, they're destined to, and excuse bad writing. So Cable's finding it harder to tell himself and his past lives, like they're all just kind of merging into one. At the same time, Meryl knows the god of bad is coming because taste. I'm not joking. So Cable's having a midlife crisis at 22, and they make it clear the sword is up to it, so just put the sword in timeout. Like, bury it. There's also a possibility Cable could be using this to get to sleep with the princess, and if so, it worked. So a ball happens because if we're gonna die, we're dying having fun. So Cable dances with Meryl, and it seems like he can only be with her because he's the hero, not because he loves her, but I've already been over this. Back at the ball, Cable and Meryl leave said ball to go to Cable's room and get busy. And turns out Meryl's bed was attacked during the smashing. So smashing saves the day! After the attempt on her life, she has 2 guards at her at all time. One of them's not Cable because you. And of course, one of them's Coil. God forbid we have any new characters who are here to make this world feel any bigger than a bathroom. And some new guy. Meryl and the new guy are getting along just fine, and I bet he's gonna be a ninja. Never mind, he got killed by a ninja. Okay. But I mean, same thing. The new guard died, and he was so pointless I didn't even bother sharing his name. Meryl wants to find Cable, but Coil tells her he has no choice, so he helps her. Never mind, he forces her to safety. Never mind again, turns out he was a ninja. Do you care? I don't care. I know for you I only said Coil's name like 3 times, maybe. But in the whole story he plays a very big part that I'm just skipping over for time reasons. So it was meant to be shocking. But number 1, it seemed pretty clear to a lot of people that this was coming. And 2, for me, who was too dumb to see it, I just did not care. Which also goes for the new guard. It seems like we're supposed to be sad about his death, but we didn't know him, so why should we care, you know? Princess finds Cable. He tells her the ninjas knew they were going to die on this mission, and she puts her training to use and fights off ninjas while Cable fights, like, super fights. And then, Cable, the best knight in the entire kingdom, dies to a grumpy old man and a couple of Japanese cosplay. However, Cable does hurt Coil enough to stop him from killing Meryl. She's sad, but his death unlocks her god power. She brings Cable back to life because God of Evil comes, they one-shot it, all the ninjas are dead, Cable and Meryl are dating, and they go to Cable's house to run. I'm not joking, that's the last words of the story. The end. Okay, I might have missed some stuff at the end as I was pretty burnt out and just skimmed through. Like how I skipped the whole God of Evil fight because I just couldn't. So, this is not even a true review for the story, but shut up, I'm enjoying making fun of something I have no right to. So, I told you I say the name of this story, but first, real talk, again, do not bully and or harass the writer. They made a story people really like, and you going over and just bullying them for nothing, it's just the worst. If you have something mean to say it in the comments, not to grow this channel, just to keep the hatred I started over here, okay? While I'm definitely not a big fan of it, that's just me being a loveless loser, and I don't want the writer to think they made a bad story because some slug on the internet decided to make fun of it. Now you know that, the story is Dance With Me. Oh, no, not any of the modern stupid love dramas your mom would read. This is Zelda fanfiction. Yup! So you could take a guess that I changed some of the names of the characters, but I really didn't rename much. Link is Cable, Zelda is Meryl, and the ninjas are the Yiga clan. So, why? Why did I hide Z-Link Smut as something else? To prove a point, which is, if you're gonna rewrite so much of this world, why not just make your own world? And heck, you could even get sold to a publisher and get a book. 50 Shades of Grey, Twilight fanfiction, which is notorious for its horrible writing, has made $490 billion. Now yes, the story only has 25 chapters, but you could easily make more for world building, see different characters in the world and like use your own imagination. My point is that there's so much new stuff just here. The morphine pills, the Yiga Thumpers, Coil, Link having a family, people being tied to something. A simple soldier cannot date Zelda. The Master Sword making Link all wibbly wobbly and giving Link a seizure. Link seeing his past lives. Link having a... Going back to real talk, there's nothing wrong with Dance With Me. After all, it's fan fiction, and I understand changing some things to fit your story. I mean, heck, Nintendo made their own fan fiction with Age of Calamity, and that game was amazing. But at what point are you just making your own world? And before you get on me about Link and Zelda and the Yiga clan being in here so clearly it has to stay it, they don't act like how they do in game. Link talks. A lot. It doesn't make sense as Link's main character trait is that he's mute. He doesn't even seem like a glutton, and yet he has a family he grew up with, even though he was training from a knight at so young he could beat adults at the age of 4. Now, I do actually want to give some recommendations to Link, as I understand it can be hard riding around a mute character. However, there is some things we know about make it feel more natural, and you can even have him talk while still having it feel a bit like Link. First, if he's alone, 100% mute. He should never talk while by himself. It makes no sense for him to do so in your story. He never does so in game, so he should never do so in this story wherever you're setting it. Next, if with groups or other random people, have him talk as little as possible, being more stoic and to the point. Yeah. And third, if with people he considers friends, aka Zelda and Zelda, have him talk out of his mind to people he trusts. That makes sense, as we hear in Zelda's diary, he did talk to her. Moving to Zelda, first up, she acts how she does in Breath of the Wild's memories. 5 years later. She's 21, but acts like she's 17 years old. I get you need to age her up to not make things gross, but she doesn't act like she's an adult. She's also completely defenseless. Even after training, she is completely useless. It's hard to say how she should react, but the games have showed that she hates having others die for her, and this story doesn't give that off. It's like she's a real princess, someone who's fine with those around her dying just to keep her alive, which is not Zelda at all. And lastly, I'll list off the Yiga clan. They're treated like assassins who need to be looked out for, and one wrong move means you're dead. In the game, they're silly. They're banana-eating goofballs. I mean, just look at their leader and how he's defeated in Breath of the Wild. I know characters treat the Yiga as a real problem in the games, which adds to their silliness. But one, Link never treats them like an actual threat, as
he's just standing there, menacingly!
But in Boogie Down With Me, they are. And Free, they are a sideshow compared to Ganon. But in Hit the Boogie Bomb, Jesus Christ, that's a dated reference, Zelda says that she fears the ninjas more than Ganon. What? It's dumb because the Yiga are supposed to be these silly sillies. Also, we never get the idea that they would die for their goal. Link kills one to save Zelda, and Urbosa says this:
"Out of respect for our princess, you may keep your lives."
But those are more like failing and dying because of their plan, which makes sense, rather than an end yourself mission. But in this story, Link says that when they started this mission being the one at the end of the story where they kill Cable, they knew they weren't coming out. Mr. Writer, you have turned the Yiga into terrorists. And the worst part? They don't eat one banana! Come on now, that's just stupid. Well, that's all I got for the story, but I got a few themes before we go. First off, there is some fan art, because fan fiction. And seeing as I have amazing... And seeing as my And seeing as my drawing skills are as good as my speaking abilities, clearly, I might as well give my thoughts on it. This one is weird. It's not bad, but it doesn't fit Wild Era Zelda. It's too realistic compared to the art style we see in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and any of the other games. And then there's this one at the end, which is, honestly, not bad. I might even be forced to say it's good. If you want to read this yourself or watch an audio version, links are in the description. I hope you enjoyed and have a great day. And again, don't bully the writer the YouTuber who made the audio, or the fan art artists. I already said how much it just makes you a and while I know nothing about the writer or the people who made the fan art, I did give the YouTuber who made an audio version, I already got him traumatized to waffles. I've done enough harm. For now. Real talk, no bullying, nobody, not even you, will like it. Now, I know I said all that and all, but I am a being of hate and only do stuff that's funny. So, do as I say, not as I do.